Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, with FEMA deadlines approaching, legal experts provide advice on what you need to know to beat them. And West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey signs a couple of bills into law. We'll tell you what those mean.
We're seeing a few splash and dash showers on live pinpoint Doppler radar, but that's a precursor as to what's to come. Details coming up.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Strong to severe storms are possible tonight, and this is a first alert weather day. Let's get right to WYMT First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean for the very latest. Eric, what's going on out there?
All right, Steve, so here's what's going on right now. This is a scene at the London Corbin Airport where we are seeing some heavy rain at this time. Here's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, and you can see that thunderstorm just to the east of London. This is going to continue to push its way to the east and the northeast. And if you live in the North Corbin area, here's your first alert right there. There's a thunderstorm that is heading your way. Other than that, we're staying quiet throughout the majority of eastern Kentucky, but that's going to change as we go throughout the next several hours, as that line of showers and thunderstorms is over towards the Evansville, Terre Haute, Indiana area, pushing its way off towards the east. Now, with that in mind, first alert weather day has been declared for the remainder of today. As we have that storm chance picking up, the main timing will be in the late evening going into the overnight hours. Main threats: heavy wind, hail, very, very low tornado chance. And you can see here the Storm Prediction Center has the majority of the WYMT viewing area under a slight risk or a level 2 for severe weather. Again, heavy wind, hail, and a very low chance of tornadic activity in this area shaded in this light purple. Certainly not out of the question, something we're going to monitor as we go throughout the next several hours. Now the question is, how long will this last? I'll have the details in the first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. As folks continue to apply for FEMA aid after the February flooding, next steps tend to include getting back documentation after aid has been approved or getting rejection letters. WYMT's Amelia Lee joins us now in the studio. She spoke with legal professionals about what you should know.
There are multiple ways to submit your FEMA application. You can go in person to your disaster recovery center. You can go online to disasterassistance.gov, call the FEMA helpline, or even download the FEMA app. Whitney Bailey with Apple Red Legal Aid tells me the first step of being eligible for aid is having the proper documentation, including your social security number, insurance coverage, pictures of damage, your address, and more.
It is not quick. Making sure you check off FEMA's initial eligibility boxes at first can truly be the key between you and getting the financial assistance you need from FEMA.
When you do apply initially, you will get a thick packet like this one, walking you through types of available assistance and other important information to know. Some people might get a different letter too.
FEMA needs additional documentation to continue processing your application. That is normal. A letter like this is normal. My household is proof, so it tells us exactly the type of the certain documents that we need to provide.
There is an appeal process if you are denied funding from FEMA. Bailey says you will have 60 days from the date of the declaration to file a written appeal.
If you had floodwater up to your roof, you are not going to have all of those documents that you need to provide in order to show that you're eligible in general.
Apple Red and other law offices have template appeal letters available as a guide to help you in the event you are rejected.
You don't need to be an attorney to submit a FEMA appeal letter. Come into the DRCs, working with FEMA, asking questions.
Having learned from the July 2022 flood, Knott County Attorney Tim Bates says not to get discouraged if you are having a hard time. There are people who can help you deal with the application, appeal, or denial process.
Don't give up. Most of the cases I saw that we worked on, there's a lot of help that we got from FEMA. So in the long run, they did do right by a lot of people.
We do want to remind you once again, the FEMA buyout program deadline is tomorrow. That's April 30th. The individual and SBA applications for the February flood are due May 25th.
Amelia, thank you very much. We will have a list of important documents to have when you are applying for FEMA aid on our website, WYMT.com. A Huntington, West Virginia man was sentenced to 1.5 years in prison for being a felon in possession of a firearm. According to court documents, police responded to reports of a man in a vehicle identified as Michael Penson. That incident happened in February 2024. Penson was found with a pistol in the vehicle. Federal law prohibits a person with a prior felony conviction from possessing a firearm. One person is dead after being shot by police in northern Kentucky. This happened just before 7 this morning in front of the Amazon facility in Florence. The Boone County Sheriff's Office says 2 of their deputies were involved in the deadly shooting, but they were not hurt. Deputies say the suspect was pronounced dead at a local hospital. We'll have more about an officer-involved shooting a little closer to home in Berea coming up at 6. 2 people are recovering in the hospital following a shooting in Huntington, West Virginia. Police say both victims are in critical but stable condition. The shooting happened in the 2400 block of Collis Avenue in the High Lawn area around 11 o'clock Sunday night. So far, no word on any suspects.
I know the families are pretty angry at the moment. I'm pretty angry at the moment. But I really do hope they'll hop on this case and figure out what's going on, because I feel like something like that shouldn't even happen.
Anyone with information is asked to contact the Huntington Police Department at 304-696-4444 or call 911. 5 students were hurt during a bus crash in northwest Tennessee. The driver was also hurt, according to the Tennessee Highway Patrol. The local sheriff's office says 14 students were released to their parents. The Tennessee Highway Patrol says the bus was on Rockhouse Hollow Road when the driver lost control, went into a creek and hit a bridge, causing the bus to flip on its side. THP says charges are possible for the bus driver as they continue to investigate the crash. Tomorrow is Denim Day, and officials at the Rising Center in Hazard encourage you to wear your denim. It's to raise awareness about sexual violence and to support survivors at the end of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Folks with the Rising Center say Denim Day started in 1999, coming after a 1992 Italian Supreme Court ruling that overturned a rape conviction, saying the victim was wearing jeans and must have needed help taking them off.
This Wednesday is Denim Day, so join the Rising Center in wearing your denim. It is more than just a fashion choice, but a powerful statement against sexual violence.
When you wear denim, it shows a support for survivors and brings awareness in our community.
Tomorrow, folks from around the world will wear denim in solidarity and support. Since summer is approaching and kids will be out of school, it's also important to watch out for child sexual abuse. The Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services says physical signs of abuse can include bruises, burns, broken bones, head injuries, and more. The Rising Center says from April to June last year, they saw 222 survivors of sexual abuse. 26 were under the age of 18. If you suspect abuse, you're asked to report it and call 911 if it's an emergency. Hundreds of folks in Tennessee lined up at a community event to get their real IDs this past weekend. State Senator Charlene Oliver organized a special one-day event to help people avoid the long lines that have plagued driver's license service centers throughout the state. Senator Oliver says the goal was to bring state government to the people, and it was so popular, organizers were forced to turn some away.
I wish we could serve everyone, but with the influx of people that we had to have a system.
Of course, we've had similar issues here in Kentucky, too. Folks must have a real ID to board domestic flights or enter federal buildings by May 7th. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey signed a couple of notable bills today. One House bill would prohibit the use of personal electronic devices in the classroom, and a Senate bill he signed would require public schools and institutes of higher education in West Virginia to display, quote, "In God We Trust" in main school buildings. New traffic changes are in effect in Boyd County. The roads in front of UK King's Daughters Medical Center are being altered in Ashland. There are now stop signs at 23rd, 24th, and 25th in both directions. Central Avenue will remain one way between 13th Street and 22nd Street. The city of Ashland is urging drivers to exercise caution as well as obey new signage and roadway paint markings.
Yes, there's a lot of crowdedness with the cars that in front of the hospital there, so it's hard to get in and out. especially for ambulance and stuff to get in there safely.
The Ashland Police Department says the large construction and changes at UK King's Daughters Medical Center has led to these updates. Big changes were put in place for the Kentucky Derby Festival's Festiville event. When folks arrive at the event, security will check bags and IDs. If folks are under 18, they will need an adult to be with them to get inside and stay with them the entire time. It comes as police say a group of teens were around the festival grounds. The teens were climbing over fences, fighting, and one even punched an officer. 4 of them were detained and later released to a parent.
The videos kind of speak for themselves. We had juveniles climbing fences, getting in fights, groups running through the crowd, one stole a golf cart. So a lot of that happening, and that has pushed us to take the next step in enforcing an attendance policy for minors, so that they have to have a chaperone when they come to the venue.
In the midst of all this, security recovered a gun, but police have not linked it to any particular person involved in the fights. It was not reported stolen. Some happier Derby news. The Louisville Slugger Museum is getting in on all things Derby by releasing their own licensed Kentucky Derby 151 souvenir bats. Some of the bats available: the Kentucky Derby mini bat, engraved souvenir bat, and a full color logo souvenir bat. Prices range from as little as $10 to up to $150 per bat. You can get one of these bats at the Slugger Museum website. WYMT will have more Derby coverage coming up on Mountain News at 6. But next here at 5:30, we take a look at what President Trump has done so far during the first 100 days of his second term in office.
New severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Laurel County. Details coming up.